It's mid-October right now, and so this is supposed to be when they're the most potent. It's the best time to dig them up. I have read that they are difficult to dig up. We're going to find out, because that's what I'm going to do right now. So this is the poked plant. It's dying now, and you can see it still has dried berries on it. And here's the leaves. And the spring is whenever you want to pull the leaves to eat the leaves. But we're going to get in here. We're going to see if I can dig this up. And I've also read that the roots can be rather large. Like, this plant is not very big, but apparently it could have like a root that's like ginormous underneath. So we're going to see what happens here. And there's all kinds of roots and debris from other stuff, so. Now I see the root. Boy, it looks pretty big too. So when I get these roots, I'll get a couple of them. And what I've read is that you chop them up, and you chop when they're still soft. So you don't want to let them dry out. I think there's a spider web on me. You don't want to let them dry out. You want to chop it up, and you put it in the crock pot with your carrier oil, and you just let it, cook overnight basically. And then you strain it out, and you add a little beeswax to thicken it up, and then you've got your salve. And that'll probably be good for a long time. Let's see here. Mosquitoes. It's starting to get dark now. Oh, there we go. Look at that. And there it is. There's our root. Actually, look here. I broke it off. There was more to it. So, there's the root. What I'll do is I'll clean it up, of course, and I'll probably cut it right there. And I'll chop this up, and I'll put it in the crock pot with the carrier oil. And I'll probably get more root, although if you leave the root, my understanding is if there is root in there, it'll grow back. So I'll leave that. And here's a little guy. And I bet this guy, because he's little, look at that. I can pull him right up. But look at that. Look at the size of that root. And that's just that little plant. And it's got that great big root coming in. So we're definitely going to take that. And let's see, I might get one more. What do you think? This is golden. No, that's not goldenrod. Is that goldenrod? I think that's goldenrod. It's at the end of the season. I pulled some of that earlier in the month because it has medicinal value as well. All right, let's see if we can get this guy here. Oh, look at that. There we go. Yeah, that one's not as good, but that's okay. That gives me a little bit more. I'm not exactly sure how much I need, but that gives me a little bit more to deal with. I think I'll just get these here. That way I don't have to carry back the whole thing. And I can go in there. So, uh-oh, I lost track. There's one. There's two. There it is. And there's three. I'll put those in my handy dandy bucket. Something I've learned is don't ever come out here without a shovel, a bucket, or a bag or something, and those hand trimmers for branches. I actually have two of them now. So don't ever come out here with those things. I've got even in my back pocket, I've got a collection bag. So whatever I find, I can collect and put in that little bag, because usually if I come out here and I don't have those things, that's when I find something really, really awesome. So I definitely want to make sure I have all those things every time they come out. If we let the stuff, the grass and whatever, if we let it start to grow, at least whenever we first bought the property, we came out here and it was all overgrown. There's curly dock, which is, it's a green, it's edible. There's wild lettuce, which is edible. There were all kinds of edible plants and everything. And then of course my husband, being the everything has to be nice and neat person that he is, came out here and bush hogged and mowed everything down. And it was all gone. So I didn't get much of a chance to collect too much of that stuff in the spring. So I'll have to convince him to leave me a little patch that he's not allowed to touch, and then see what grows in the springtime. You can see here, this is all poke in here. And you're fighting the birds for the berries. And I know it's weird, it's like, well, wait a second, there's all these dried berries on here. Well, when they first come out in the summer or whatever it is, the birds just go wild for them. I have a friend that has horses, and the horses just, that's like, they love these berries, and she's fighting her horses for these berries. When we went walking in there earlier today, tons and tons of poke. So I'm like, okay, good, there's lots of poke, I don't have to worry about it. Here you go. This is goldenrod that's at the end here. Come on, there we go. This is goldenrod. It's at the end of the season here. When it's bright and yellow, you want to pick the flowers, and then you can pull the leaves as well, and you can make a tea out of the flowers and out of the leaves. If you make the tea out of the flowers, it's really, really bitter. Like, you're like, whoa, super bitter. Some people like bitter stuff. The leaves are not nearly as bitter, especially if you put some honey in with them. And this, if you have allergies, this is what you're supposed to drink, is goldenrod tea. And that's supposed to really, really, really help with allergies and sinus infections and stuff like that. You're probably thinking, didn't you have a sinus infection about a month ago? Yes, I did. I made myself some goldenrod tea. I drank as much as I could. It was very bitter. And then I moved on to other medicines. Yeah, don't tell my herbalist teacher that I said that. But I do. I have collected lots of the flowers and the leaves just in case, so that, you know, I'll drink it. I will drink it. I just noticed in here, look at this. Here's some pokeberries that are still good. So I'm going to grab them. And they're super easy to grab. You just peel it off. Can't be any easier than that. I put that whole stem, I get like a plastic grocery bag, and I put all of them in the freezer, just like that, and I let the berries freeze. And then I come back and I just pull off the frozen berries. And what you can do is you can pop one like a pill every day. And it's supposed to be really good for arthritis. That's the main thing. A lot of people take one of those berries every day for arthritis. They just swallow it whole. It also has, I understand it has some respiratory benefits as well. Of course, vitamin C and things like that. So that's a good item to kind of have on hand for things. A lot of the stuff you can make tinctures out of, which is basically you put whatever it is, the herb or the berry or the flower, in with alcohol, and you let it sit for like 8 weeks, and it pulls out all the good stuff, and then you have a medicine. And I'm doing that a lot at home. This is another one of those. These are those wild grapes. This is a wild grapevine here, and of course we didn't know there were wild grapes here until they had dried out. So next year, it's about usually like the early summertime. That's probably when they'll be ripe, and so I'm looking forward to that next year. And they're little teeny tiny things, but it's still really cool to have so many. And this whole thing is just covered in wild grapes, so it's going to be really cool to see these next year. And I'll collect them, and they're little teeny tiny, but maybe I can make a little bit of grape jelly out of them. We'll see. But anyway, so that's just kind of the quick and dirty of our property. And I just wanted to take you like a little tour, show you a couple of things, and then later on I'll have some videos. I'll have the poke root, and I'll show you what I'm doing with that, and some other stuff at home, And when I start the videos, I'm going to welcome you to my completely messy, dirty kitchen, because I live in the real world where I have a job and homeschool and take care of property and household and extracurricular activities, and that's probably how most people live, and they don't have time to clean their kitchen. If I get a meal made for my family, then hey, I'm doing pretty good. So anyway, we will see what happens, and I hope you enjoy whatever kind of weird, funky, upcoming, unedited videos that we have for you. Alright, so this is Homestead by Chance. We'll see you later.